Good morning, AAA members, and welcome to our second week of our virtual traveler showcase. We have some great presentations from our tour partners this week, and we are so happy that you're here with us today. Before we begin, I want to go over some quick housekeeping. You will be muted throughout the presentation today, so if you have a question, please feel free to type it into the questions box, and we will answer as many of the questions as we can at the end of the presentation. There is a handout included in the presentation that you're more than welcome to download and keep for yourself. Our travel professionals also have this brochure on hand and are able to help you plan African adventures perfect for you. This presentation is being recorded, and we will send you a link to the recording by email after the event today. There will also be a short survey included in the survey, so if you could please take a few moments and complete that survey for us, we would greatly appreciate it. We have presentations through Thursday, January 28th for the Traveler Showcase. So if you would like to see the full schedule of presentations and RSVP, you can do so at AAA.com/Traveler Showcase. And we will have information on how you can get in touch with our knowledgeable AAA travel professionals at the end of the presentation. With that said, we are very excited to have African Travel here with us today. As the longest established luxury safari operator focused exclusively on the African continent, African Travel is dedicated to creating and providing the ultimate African experience. Like the stripes on a zebra, no human fingerprints are the same, and that's why African Travel offers a wide variety of trips and styles, each one designed to get you up close and personal with Africa, and with 5-star service guaranteed every step of the way. It is my pleasure this morning to introduce our speaker, Kevin Coey, Director of Sales for AAA's preferred travel partner, African Travel. Thanks for joining us today, Kevin.
Well, thank you, Nathan. It's absolutely our pleasure to be here. And Matthew, you also see on the screen, Matthew is my colleague. He's actually based up in the Pacific Northwest. So he is your kind of go-to daily guy that everybody knows in AAA. And so between the two of us, we handle African Travel. And we, as you said, we absolutely do have the inside track on African Travel. I am actually I did want to at least let everybody see that there is a face to the name, but so that you can enjoy the images better, and I hope we've got some wonderful images to share with you today. I'm actually going to go ahead and turn off my cam now because I know that images of wild animals in Africa are much, much more interesting than my ugly face. So I will do that. So as I said, we are incredibly proud and privileged to partner with AAA. This is our largest partnership in the nation, and we just love working with the advisors and agents at AAA. They're so knowledgeable and they're so enthusiastic about Africa, and they just are going to guarantee. So, you know, it's really wonderful because your AAA agent probably knows quite a lot about you. They know what kind of floats your boat. They know the kinds of trips you're looking for. If something comes across your desk that's perfect for you, they're going to go, wow. And of course, we at African Travel know all about Africa. So we come together and we make this amazing marriage that then creates the absolute perfect trip for you to Africa. I know that you've got other sessions coming on later this week, but I'd like to believe that today we're going to inspire you so much with Africa, you would say, that's the trip I'm going on, and I don't need to see anything else this week. So I hope that's my task, and that's our mission, and hopefully we can do that. So our moniker at African Travel is We Know Africa, and that's purely and simply because it is true. We focus 110% on Africa, 24/7, 365. We eat, breathe, and sleep Africa, and we don't sell any other part of the world. We have been in business as African Travel for 45 years, so we've certainly been around the block. And it is rather interesting, I think, because we actually do not sell directly to you as the traveler. We really, truly believe, for exactly the reasons I said before, in the partnership with AAA. You know, you do need to go to your AAA agent, and they will have all of the inside information on everything that we're going to talk about today and make sure that you get what is truly a life-changing trip. So a couple of things just to get started on exactly why do we look at the AAA and why Africa and why African Travel. So this generally is a bucket list destination, and I'm going to tell you that I am actually on a one-man mission to change that word bucket list into dream list. These are truly a dream trip. Africa is just going to, as I say, I will use the word life-changing several times during this presentation because it truly is. This is an unforgettable experience. And we are absolutely looking after all your well-being while you are there. So all the protocols and so on. I actually personally just returned from Kenya and was blown away by the protocols that they have in place. I was just there last week, and everybody wears masks. In fact, they have a law in Kenya where you can be fined for walking on the street without a mask. Every time you turned around, they have hand sanitizer. Every single person you encounter has a bottle of hand sanitizer that they're pushing and squeezing into your hand. Every activity you do, they have a sink there with fresh running water and soap so that you can wash your hands every time you go to any new place or whatever. In fact, when you're leaving the airport in Nairobi, in order to even be able to just drive onto the airport grounds, everybody in the vehicle has to get out of the vehicle. You go over to this bank of about 50 hand wash basins, and you use your knee to operate the water. So you press your knee against the front of the sink unit, and the water flows and the soap there, and you have to wash your hands before you're even allowed to travel on to the airport grounds. And everybody, there are masks everywhere, and they're constant. Even if you're wearing masks, they're giving you more masks. It's just a constant. So I felt very, very comfortable indeed. Now, at African Travel, we do recognize that not everybody likes to travel the same way. So a lot of what we do, particularly with AAA, we do have our small group departures. So this is a maximum of 12 guests. It does operate with a minimum of 4. And right now, when we do have 12 on the trip, we will actually be splitting you into 2 groups of 6. So we keep it even smaller. But we do have those. But sometimes, some people just really would rather stay in their own bubble. The actual itinerary may not be exactly what you're looking for. The date may not be exactly the date that you can travel. So we absolutely customize for you as well. And we can, yes, there's certainly an investment of your time, definitely an investment of your money. So we want your trip to be exactly the way you want it to be. So customized safari is also a very big part of what we do. And then if you want to travel with your family group and you're maybe between you and your kids or your parents or your grandparents or your children or whatever, and if you're 10 people or more, we consider that to be a small group, and we will do a custom group for you. Again, a great opportunity to stay within your own bubble, often the opportunity to buy out a whole lodge or camp so that you're the only people there. And it's just a great way to do it. We do everything with AAA, so we can do the air, the land, the transfers, all the meet and greet, which we do at VIP level. And I will say that we are doing everything at a luxury level. So you are going to be blown away by the service that you're going to get. And at African Travel, every journey that we create is going to have a sustainable impact on our planet. We look after the 3 pillars of our planet, which are the planet itself, the wildlife, of course, and absolutely the communities. And the communities do need to work so hand in hand with the wildlife in order for the planet to stay the way it is and for Africa to be there for generations to come. We are also local here in the US, so we're working very closely with your local AAA office, but we're also local in Africa. We own and operate our own services. We have 16 offices throughout Africa, and it is all locally hosted. So the person that's taking you and talking to you and accompanying you is incredibly well versed as they're going around. So let's take a look at some of the destinations. I know this is what we're really looking for. Let's start with South Africa. So South Africa is what I consider to be.
I don't mean to interrupt. I'm still seeing your first slide.
Oh, how interesting. So you're not seeing anything coming through?
Nope, I'm just seeing the
leopard?
The big leopard, yeah.
Oh, I wonder what went wrong there, because it is advancing here. Do you want me to go out and come back in and reset it?
One second here. Let me see if I can. Give this back to you and try it again.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay, you see we know South Africa now?
Yep, thank you.
Fantastic, good. And I'm gonna come back to it, but I'm gonna advance it one slide just to make sure that you do see the advancement. Do you see Cape Town?
I do.
Okay, good, excellent. All right, very good, fantastic. Okay, so let's go back to where we were. I apologize for that, and I'm glad, Nathan, that I am not a technical person, so I do appreciate having somebody that's technologically savvy and able to fix that problem. So thank you. And I certainly wouldn't want you to miss the wonderful pictures that I'm going to show you today. So yes, so talking about South Africa, this is what I consider to be Africa 101. Everybody that you're going to interact with here is going to speak English. You've got hot and cold running water everywhere. You've got flushing toilets everywhere, even when you're out in the middle of nowhere in the lodges and camps in the bush. And the food. One of the things that we hear from everybody that comes back from South Africa is about how amazing and how blown away they were by the level of cuisine. Even again, in the middle of nowhere, they're like, wow, they were producing the most amazing meals for us in South Africa. It was absolutely fantastic. But no visit to South Africa would be complete without taking a starting look at Cape Town. So Cape Town is considered to be the mother city of South Africa. It's one of the top 5 cities in the world right now, and it is one of the top 3 cities in the world, by the way, for foodies. The restaurant scene in Cape Town is just spectacular. It has had the iconic Table Mountain in the background, surrounded on 3 sides by water. And everybody loves to go up Table Mountain because the views from up there are just stunning, absolutely, truly amazing. And you go up with that cable car that you can see in the top left there. And as you're going up the mountain, that cable car, the car itself very, very slowly rotates. So everybody in the car gets great views of the ocean, the city, and even the side of the mountain, which is really cool too. There's a wonderful, very vibrant waterfront, and there is an amazing area called Bulkup, which is where you see all these colorful buildings in the bottom right here. Very West Indian, just very cool, an amazing area with some great restaurants in it as well. You could actually spend a month in Cape Town and still not see everything. It's a very outdoorsy city. If any of you have ever been to Sydney, Australia, very similar way of life there, a very outdoor city. But usually most people are doing 2, 3, or even 4 nights in Cape Town, which is really ideal, at least to get a really good taste for this amazing city. Then we're going to take you to the Cape Point. And I'm sorry, I realize that my timings are on. I never have timings on. I don't know how that happened, but I will manage that and keep you back to where we should be. So we take you down to Cape Point. And Cape Point is the southernmost point on the continent of Africa. It's very blustery, it's very beautiful, it's very rugged. And it's just a really cool place to go. So we usually do a half day there, and then just about 20 miles along the coast from Cape Point, we come to Boulders Beach. And Boulders Beach is a home to a year-round colony of penguins. You don't have to go all the way to Antarctica to see penguins. We have them for you in South Africa, just outside of Cape Town. And who doesn't love to see a couple of penguins kissing on the beach? During your trip, there will always be some free time built in. So if you are interested in giving back, doing some cultural experiences, maybe you'd like to go and read to some kindergarten children. They love it. You can take an hour out of your time and do it. If you want to go and help plant some vegetables or deliver desks to a school, just visit a school, an orphanage. We have all of these opportunities available for you, and absolutely love to do that for you. But we know that once you're getting there, Cape Town is absolutely a must-do, but we know that most of you are really looking forward to going on safari. So safari in South Africa is truly an incredible and amazing personal experience. It is, I'm going to use a word here, and I use it in the most positive terms possible. You are going to be shocked by how up close and personal you get with the animals. This image is in no way doctored. And the great thing in South Africa, you're going to get your animal fix very, very quickly, and lots of it around every corner. Here's the elephants, there's giraffes, there's rhinos, there's lions and leopards, and it's just amazing, amazing. But bear in mind, this is not animatronics. Nobody can guarantee what you're going to see on any particular drive or day. It is wild, it is real. But we are going to do everything we can to make sure that you get to see the big 5, which we see here. Whoops. And so the big 5 are from the bottom, my friend the lion. I am so sorry about this. the buffalo, the elephant, the leopard, which is the most elusive, and then the rhino. And rhinos are critically, critically endangered. So at African Travel, part of our give back that I talked about earlier with sustainability is related to conservation of the rhinos. This is a race against time. I will tell you that we are losing the race, but we are trying very, very hard to save these magnificent creatures. And then any visit to South Africa for #1 add-on is always Victoria Falls. So in 2 of the 3 AAA trips that we have available for you, we are going to take you to Victoria Falls. So Victoria Falls is the largest curtain of water on the planet. It is one of the 7 natural wonders of the world, and it is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And at Victoria Falls, you can be as crazy as you want to be. You can go ziplining or bungee jumping or go out on inflatables and see the wildlife on the banks of the river. This is the mighty Zambezi River, one of the world's most famous rivers and one of the world's mightiest rivers. Or you can just be as sedate and calm as you wish. And there is a wonderful walkway that goes the full length of the falls, over facing the falls, with incredible turnouts for amazing images and just a fantastic, easy way and a fabulous way to witness this incredible wonder. So one of the AAA exclusive AAA vacation trips, and these can only be found at AAA. You cannot get this trip anywhere else. So this is our Southern African highlight. So it does do 4 nights in Cape Town at Table Bay. We're then going to take you on safari to Kapama Private Reserve. And in South Africa, we do work pretty much always with private reserves. The reason for that is because in a national park, they are open to the public. Day trippers can go, coach loads can go, and so on. But private reserves are not. And you have to be staying in a private reserve in order to access and go game viewing there. And also all of the lodges, each private reserve only usually has 3 or 4 lodges, and each lodge is only usually somewhere between 12 to 15 rooms. So this means a maximum of somewhere around 20, 22, 25 people in lodge at any one time. So it makes for a very exclusive and intimate experience. We're then going to do 1 night in Johannesburg to give you an opportunity to see this amazing city, and then we'll go on for 2 nights at Victoria Falls. So in every trip that we do, there are always meaningful memories. And in this one, we're including the Cape Peninsula tour. We are going to include the sunset cruise on the Zambezi River. And these are not the only inclusions. There are lots of other inclusions, and your AAA agent will absolutely have all the details of the day by day and tell you what is included and so on. And then, of course, all your game drives. And also always worth remembering that when you're in Cape Town, breakfast every day is included. When you're on safari, 3 meals a day are included, plus afternoon teas and special early morning coffees and muffins and things like that. So you are very well fed and watered when you are on these trips. Now, this one is actually probably AAA's #1 selling trip with Africa. And this is our incomparable Cape Town and Safari. It stays 4 nights at the absolutely amazing 12 Apostles Hotel. This is a Red Carnation Hotels. If any of you are ever familiar with that brand of hotels, they have a very small collection of hotels worldwide, but everything that Red Carnation touches turns to gold. They are simply incredible. And 12 Apostles is considered to be one of the best hotels in all of Africa. We'll then go on and do your safari here at Lion Sands, which is just an amazing, amazing experience. Any animal, any safari game viewing experience in Africa is amazing, but Lion Sands is truly fantastic. Going to also do another night in Johannesburg here, and then ended up at the Victoria Falls River Lodge. And the Victoria Falls River Lodge is one of my favorite lodges in all of Africa personally. I love this lodge. It is a tent, but you would never know it. The tents have air conditioning. They have spa-style bathrooms. They have an outdoor shower, which is really private. One of my favorite features in all of Africa. And to be able to stand out there in the outdoor shower and just you and the monkeys watching you in the trees while you take your shower, simply amazing, absolutely fantastic. And this lodge every tent is right on the Zambezi River. And on every tent, there is a private deck. On every private deck, there is a small hot tub plunge pool. So you can lie in there and have your coffee in the morning, have your beer or soda or a glass of wine or champagne in the evening and just watch that incredible river go by. And sometimes even the animals will walk by. Elephants and hippos are very often visitors. This lodge is actually home to, it's set in the middle of a range of 40 elephants, and they often walk right through the lodge. So it's just incredible, absolutely amazing. So our meaningful memories on this trip are to have dinner at the Asia restaurant. So Asia restaurant is at the 12 Apostles Hotel. 12 Apostles is in this really incredible setting overlooking the ocean and the mountains behind, and the restaurant just looks over that during sunset. Oh, just stunningly, stunningly beautiful. Have a private tour of Victoria Falls, and of course, all the game viewing as well. We're also very, very excited to bring you what is a new itinerary for AAA. This one is 10 days. And we were hearing from some of the members that Cape Town was just so amazing. They had such a great time that they wish they just had an extra night there. So we've done that, and we've now made this a 5-night trip in Cape Town. And then we're going to do just that extra night. Instead of 3 nights on safari, we're doing the extra night at Shamwari Private Reserve. Now, Shamwari Private Reserve, for my money, is absolutely the best private reserve in all of Africa. And they have an amazing rhino conservation program. And since rhinos are very important to me and very close to my heart personally, I'm just so in favor of what they're doing. It's incredible. In fact, people from all over Africa come to them to ask about how to help the rhinos, and other game reserves and so on are looking to Shamwari and how to aid and assist their rhinos and protect their future. So this is truly, truly an incredible trip. It's just a little bit more leisurely. Instead of doing the trifecta, it is just a double with Cape Town and Safari. And of course, we will have those meaningful moments. So we're going to this one, you're going to do Cape Town City Tour. We're going to take you out to the winelands. And the winelands are truly, truly remarkable. You'll have, if I don't know how much any of you know about South African wines, but they are amazing. And winning prizes with the very best of the French and Californians. We're also going to take you to Robben Island, which is where Nelson Mandela spent much of his imprisonment. And I'm going to talk about Gold's restaurant that you saw there. I'm going to talk about that in just a second. But I just wanted to get back to the winelands here. And, yes, I understand it's wine as well. Even if you're not into wine, getting out into the winelands, it's stunningly beautiful. This is a Kodak moment at every turn out there. So even if you're not into wine, just to go out, and we have wonderful lunch. The restaurants are incredible out there, very boutique, amazing. So I say, even if you're not into drinking wine, you're going to love being out in the winelands. It is so, so beautiful. And then, as you saw, one of the memories that we're going to put in here will be a dinner at Gold's Restaurant. So Gold's Restaurant is very cool. This is where you start dinner by learning to drum in African style. And everybody is doing it in a circle. It's a drumming circle, and they learn. It's fun. It's great. Everybody's laughing, and you really get into it. It's a really fun thing to do. Even if you think that's not your style, trust me, you're going to love this. And then dinner is done like a kind of a tapas. It's done with about 25 different cuisines from all over Africa. And the people who work there are all dressed in national costume from all the different countries. They will also come up to you and they'll paint your face in African designs during dinner and so on. So it's just a great, and the feedback on this experience is simply amazing, because that's what it is. It is an experience. So let's move up to East Africa now. We're going to go to Kenya. This is a very, very cool and exciting trip to Kenya. So Kenya is in Nairobi. This is Nairobi National Park. And Nairobi National Park is the only national park for wild animals on the planet that abuts the city center. So you can see the city in the background, and yet it is the wild animals, and they have such an array of wild animals here. And as we mentioned earlier, just that little piece of trivia about those zebras. And by the way, in Africa, we do call them zebras, not zebras. But no two zebras have the same stripes. They are like our fingerprints, so it's very cool. We're also going to take you, we'd like to give back, as I mentioned, and we discovered this group of ladies who were really down and out on their luck, but they were very talented with their hands. So they got together and they started some years ago a group that they make from scratch their beads. They make pottery, so now they make jewelry, and all sorts of things. And they are now helping other underprivileged women and ladies in this area in Nairobi. So it's called the Kazuri beading, and it's so wonderful to go there, watch them do it, and then if you want to buy a little trinket or something, you're helping them, but B, you're buying something that you can see is being made with your own eyes, and it doesn't have the kind of tiny, minute, made in China stamp sitting on the bottom somewhere. So we're very in favor of that kind of give back to the communities. In Nairobi, you're also going to have the opportunity to go to the Sheldrick Foundation. So the Sheldrick Foundation is an elephant orphanage. They find elephants. They actually come from all over Africa, but predominantly Eastern Africa. And they bring them to the orphanage. They rehabilitate them. Many of these are victims of poaching, where the mother has been poached for the tusks and the baby is just left to wander. And sometimes they get lost because, well, elephants do have an incredibly strong family unit. Every now and then one just gets lost is in the wrong place, and away it goes. And so people find them. The communities are really big on this. They call the Sheldrick Foundation. They go out, they rescue them, bring them back. They rehabilitate them, and then they re-release them back into the wild. So these elephants do go back to where they came from, which is wonderful. They get integrated into families again, and the success rate on this is absolutely fantastic. We're also going to take you in Nairobi to the Giraffe Center. And the Giraffe Center is where they are doing everything they can to save the very highly endangered and almost extinct Rothschild giraffes. So a breeding program there as well. And those babies that are born there are then rehabilitated and released back into the wild, again, with great success. So we love to spend this day in Nairobi, taking you around and showing you. But then we're going to take you up to the Samburu region. So Samburu region is in northern Kenya. And here we've got 5 species of animals that are found nowhere else on the planet. You will also see your elephants and giraffes and rhinos and lions and all sorts of things. And by the way, they are having a lot of success with the re-import with bringing back the rhinos here. This is one of Africa's successes, and they learned a lot from Shamwari here too. But you will have the opportunity to see 5 of these species that are found nowhere else on the planet. You're also going to have the opportunity here to meet with the Samburu people. They are an ancient tribe. They're fascinating. They're wonderful. And they're a very small tribe in East Africa, but they're doing everything they can to keep their ways about them. And as I said, when you're in this area, you're absolutely going to have the opportunity to see plenty of other of the animals that you would expect in Africa too. You also have the opportunity to meet the Maasai people. So the Maasai are the dominant tribe in East Africa. And at some point during the trip, you will do breakfast out in the middle of the bush. I just did this last week, and I'm going to tell you that we were exactly in a spot like this, under a tree like this. We were having breakfast and everything was laid out. It was just fantastic. And the ranger who was with us, the Maasai ranger who was with us, got word that there was a group, a pride of 5 cheetahs in the very close proximity. So we packed everything up very, very quickly, put it back into the Jeep, and then we sat there for a little while, and sure enough, about 15 minutes later, the cheetahs showed up exactly at the tree we were eating breakfast under, and they then sat under the tree in the shade and sunned them and rested for a while. Just fantastic. Absolutely amazing dichotomy and junction of 2 parts of life coming together. Just absolutely, simply incredible. So we do have our Kenya Wildlife Safari. This is a AAA exclusive vacations. You cannot get it anywhere else. So this is 10 days. I want you to pay very close attention now to this pricing. This is $49.99. I know it says from. At African Travel, we're not a company that say from and then suddenly it's 10,000. It's $49.99, and I believe the top price on this in high season just goes up to 56 or something like that. So it's not a huge, but the big thing about this is 10 days, 5-star, and it includes international air. This is simply an amazing giveaway, almost too good to be true, but it really and truly is true. So you're going to have those 2 nights in Nairobi. We're going to take you out to the Samburu area. We will do a night in Lake Nakuru, and then we'll end it all up in the Masai Mara. So of course, those meaningful moments will be there. Then we're going to go on to Tanzania. So this is the last of the countries that we offer exclusively through AAA on a AAA itinerary. And here we have the ability to visit 4 different areas of Tanzania. So we're going to start it off in Tarangire, which is really well known for tree climbing lions. Very rarely do you ever see lions climb trees. Leopards, cheetahs, absolutely, but lions very rarely do. But they have done so in this area of Africa. Then I'm going to take you on to Lake Manyara, and the name would imply it is a lake. It has an amazing selection of birds here, and a wonderful, wonderful selection of 4-legged animals as well. And then we're going to go on to Ngorongoro Crater. And Ngorongoro Crater is one of the planet's largest calderas. Many people consider that this should be the 8th natural wonder of the world. It's stunningly beautiful. This image is very deceiving. These, what look like kind of hills here, are actually 2,000 feet tall. This is a very, very high crater. And all of the animals that live in the crater never leave the crater, and all of the humans, no humans live in the crater. So all of the lodges are right on the rim of the crater. And you wake up in the morning and you go out onto your balcony and you have your hot cup of coffee, and you can hear the lions roaring down on the floor of the crater and the elephants trumpeting, and the clouds are cascading down the side of the crater like a waterfall. Stunningly, stunningly beautiful. Absolutely amazing. From Ngorongoro, we will take you on to Serengeti, which is probably the most famous of all the parks in all of Africa, and is truly where the national park, or the safari experience, started in Africa some 75 years ago. So as I say, this is an amazing trip. It does visit 4 very, very unique parts of Tanzania for wildlife, as well as spending a couple of nights in Arusha, which is a small town, has a very interesting market that you can go to. And we do some other stuff with you just to get your feet and get started before you go out on this trek around East Africa. But it is amazing, absolutely incredible. So on this one included, of course, would be the Maasai Village tour. You go to see Ngorongoro Crater, along with all the other places that we talked about, and all of that game driving as well. One of the great things that we are doing for any of you who travel in 2021, of course, you know that as a member of AAA, you do get special benefits. And with African Travel, we do discounts on these tours and on these trips and itineraries. So we will be doubling your member benefit throughout the whole of travel in 2021. So this really can make a great savings for you when you're doing it. So with that, you know, there is nothing better than an African sunset. I love Africa. I was born and raised in Zambia. As I mentioned, I was just there last week again. I'm backwards and forwards there as often as possible. Africa truly is a life-changing and amazing experience. Everybody that comes back will tell us that. When you come back and you're being surveyed by your AAA agents, that's the number one thing you all say: wow, this was life-changing. Every trip to Africa is going to have its wow moments. I cannot guarantee what your wow moment will be. This is not animatronics. It is real. It is nature. But I can guarantee you will have wow moments. Every trip does include them. The other great thing we love about Africa is you all say, oh, okay, well, it's going to be a once-in-a-lifetime trip. And your AAA agent and ourselves, we look at each other and go, okay, yeah, whatever. Because when you come back, everybody tells us they cannot wait to go back and see more, that they realize that there is so much more to Africa than just one trip. So with that, I'm going to throw it back to you guys in Oregon, and I thank you very, very much for the time today. I'll be happy to take some questions.
Thank you, Kevin, for sharing all that great information and for those stunning pictures. I can't wait to travel to Africa myself someday. It's definitely on my bucket list. Someday I will get there. I do want to thank all of our members for submitting questions throughout the presentation today. We will be answering those very soon. If you do have any questions that you think of that you haven't asked yet, please feel free to type them into the questions box now. But before we get into the questions, I want to chat briefly about how you can get in touch with us here at AAA. So you're more than welcome to reach out to us by phone. Our 800 number is listed there. When you call that number, you will get in touch with a AAA travel professional that's in the nearest service center to you. If you've worked with one of our travel professionals before, please feel free to reach out to them directly. They're going to be your go-to person. But if you haven't worked with one before, the good way for you to start is to email us at AAAtravel@AAAoregon.com. Just give us your member number and a brief idea of what you're looking for, and we can set you up with a travel professional that can help you get started planning your next vacation. You're more than welcome to visit us on our website, which is AAA.com. More specifically, AAA.com/travel. This has tons of great resources for you, and it has information about our travel partners, including African Travel. And then we did have questions about our AAA service centers. They are open to the public right now. So if you want to meet with a travel professional in person, you can do that. We're just asking that you call ahead and schedule an appointment. We're still dealing with very uncertain times, so we just want to make sure that we can kind of manage the flow of traffic in and out of the service centers just to make sure that everyone is safe. And with that, we can start moving into questions. Kevin, I don't believe that you touched on this destination in your presentation, and if you did, I apologize. But we had a member that asked if you offer tours that include Botswana.
So we do. We don't have any set departures to Botswana because, as I said, we do like when we're looking at places like Botswana. This is a destination that fewer people choose to travel to, although it is becoming very popular. So we do that on a customized basis, on an independent travel. Botswana is an amazing, and the reason I didn't touch on it, and many other destinations, I could have you all here till dinner time tonight, and I know you all have lives to do, but there's so much to talk about in Africa and all the different countries. So we kind of did Africa 101 today. But yeah, so Botswana, very, very easy to add on to any of these trips if they were doing a AAA vacations trip. Or if you don't want to do that and you want to take parts of these trips and do it and then add Botswana to it, or if you just want to do Botswana on its own, certainly very doable, and your AAA agent can make that happen. We bring all that together and do it for you. So yeah, I just really focused on today on things that can be done as a AAA vacation or AAA exclusive itinerary. We actually work in 17 different countries in Africa. So we do the gorillas in Rwanda and Uganda, and we do Zambia and Zimbabwe and Namibia and Mozambique. We also go out to the islands of Seychelles and Mauritius. We do Madagascar. Oh, I could talk for an hour just about Madagascar, an amazing island just off the coast of East Africa or the Southeast African coast. So yes, we can. So there are many, and we do Egypt as well. And we do that in conjunction with our wonderful sister company, Uniworld. So we can do the extended land portion, and then they go on the Uniworld river cruise to, which is just second to none, spectacular. So we do have a lot more than we touched on today. Just with time constraints, we needed to keep it pretty simple. But your AAA agent has all of the information and absolutely can help you with any countries that we do in Africa.
And I can't remember off the top of my head, Kevin, we had another member that was asking about Mbozili. Is that also offered with African Travel?
Absolutely. So it's called Amboseli, and I was actually just there myself last week. Amboseli is amazing because it's home to over 2,000 elephants, 59 different families of elephants. And these are elephants, they're very well known for their tusks. They are what we call big tuskers, and the tusks often drag on the ground. And Amboseli has had an amazing success with anti-poaching. So they have not been losing their elephants to poachers. The other claim to fame in Amboseli is that the backdrop to Amboseli is Mount Kilimanjaro. And now, like any major mountain, it is the highest mountain in Africa. It's 20,000 feet. And like any mountain, when you go there, who knows, it might be. And we were there for 2 full days last week. And the first day we got there, late in the afternoon, the clouds actually came down a little bit and the snow-capped crown of Kilimanjaro showed itself. But then the clouds came back up, and I did a live event from Amboseli last week. And unfortunately, with Mount Kilimanjaro was my backdrop, but the clouds were over it. But we started a beautiful waterhole and amazing African sunset. But the next morning we woke up and Kilimanjaro had revealed itself in all its glory. It is truly the gem of Africa, and it was magnificent. And I have great pictures and videos of giraffes walking along with Kilimanjaro in the background, and it just made absolutely fantastic, absolutely great. So yes, Amboseli, very, very definitely on the radar and on the scope for us, and we can make it happen for you.
Excellent. There was questions about transportation from Cape Town to Victoria Falls. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Right, so that's done by air. And so there are certain days of the week. Obviously, air transportation is such a big unknown right now, and we're waiting for all the airlines and so on. There are flights that are doing things, and regional flights and low domestic flights in South Africa are operating, but a little bit like in some of the US destinations, a little on some limited service, not quite with the frequency. In normal times, there were a couple of days a week when you could actually go from Cape Town non-stop to Victoria Falls. However, since most people choose to do Cape Town first, then go on safari and end it at Victoria Falls, the vast majority of people fly from Cape Town to the safari that they're going to do, wherever the lodge is, and then they come back to Johannesburg. And that's why in those AAA vacations itineraries, we include that night in Johannesburg. It's actually a logistical thing because of the time that the flights leave the bush and get to Johannesburg. The flight from Johannesburg daily leaves in the morning to go to Victoria Falls. So we overnight you, gives you the opportunity to see to see Johannesburg. Then we pick you up in the morning, take you to the airport, and you get on your flight. It's about an hour and 10-minute flight from Johannesburg to Victoria Falls. So it's really, yeah, it's all done by air.
We just had a member write in asking Kevin, how do I get a job like yours?
Well, I guess, absolutely. Write in and apply. None of us is indisposable. If you've got the will and the wherefore, and you love Africa with a passion, hello, I'm sure they might think about kicking me out and bringing you in. So.
Oh, I love it. There was a question about the vehicles that are used on safari rides. They were asking if it's kind of bumpy out there.
So it can be bumpy, particularly when you're on game drive. Which, obviously when it just depends. So we have the roads that you will travel on during game drive are going to vary quite a lot. It's either going to be gravel, which is relatively smooth and kind of running over little stones, or it can be, and we had a couple of instances last week, where we were crossing rivers, and to get down to the river was quite a bumpy. They are actually still very, very comfortable. There's lots of bars to hold on to, it only lasts for a few seconds. I have several videos that are 15 seconds, and we were through the river and up the other side already. There are sometimes, most in South Africa, all game driving is going to be done in open jeeps. So that's where the sides are open. There is a roof can be put on if it's very hot or raining or something like that, or going to be really sort of sunny that day or preferred. And then sometimes if they'll take the roof off for a little while, it completely comes off. It's a canvas roof. In East Africa, we're seeing a lot more of those open jeeps coming now because it is what most people prefer. It really makes you feel one with the nature, that you're not kind of in a glass cage while nature's out there. It really makes you feel part of what's happening. You can smell, you can feel, you can, whatever it might be. But for longer journeys, because sometimes when you're moving from one area to the other in East Africa, that can be a journey of 4 or 5 hours. And for those, we will use proper Range Rovers or Land Rovers that have air conditioning, have captain seats. They have just 4 seats in them. They have coolers. They're all enclosed completely. Can open the windows if you want, but they make for just a bit more comfortable for those longer rides. So you'll never be uncomfortable for any lengthy periods of time. And when you're out on game drive, very usually it's about 2 to 2.5 hours when you're in the open jeeps on game drive. And there will be stops made. I mean, you're stopping to look at the animals anyway whenever you see them. And then in the morning game drives, they're stopping for coffee and tea in the middle of the bush. In evening game drives, we stop about 15, 20 minutes before the sun sets. Wonderful African tradition. And it's really amazing because out of the Jeep comes the table and the chairs and the tablecloths, and the drinks are full bar. I mean, full bar, and coffee and tea and red wine and white wine and all the mixes to go with it, and appetizers and plates and so on, napkins and whatever. It's like Mary Poppins pulling it all out of the bag. It's absolutely incredible. And people are like, wow, this was in the back of my Jeep. Who knew? It's the same when you go on the breakfast. If you do bush breakfast, they lay out a fabulous breakfast and tablecloths and chairs and everything. It's all stored in the Jeep. but you'll get out and you'll do that. And the sundowner tradition is that, we pour a drink to every evening, and we stop and we bid farewell to the sun every evening. It's a big African tradition done all over Africa and done every evening. Even if you don't happen not to have gone out and gave life, they will still do sundowner at the lodge. It's a really cool thing. So we love to bid farewell to the sun and wish it back again tomorrow.
Love it. And while you were speaking about that, there was a member that wrote in that says that they've actually been on a safari and they have a bad back, and it was never too bumpy, and they said that they had good vehicles and the open air makes for a fabulous viewing situation. So
It sure does. I appreciate them sharing that, because that there's nothing like personal sharing to know, to get what's to understand what's happening. So yeah, that's great. Thank you.
And then our last question that came in, Kevin, and I'm sure that this kind of varies a little bit by destination, but it says, what is the best season to visit Africa?
So, it's very interesting. So I love the question, because the question says, what is the best season to visit Africa? And the answer to that is, it's always season to visit Africa, because you're right. Certain countries, certain times are a little bit better than others. South Africa, peak period is from perhaps beginning of mid-August until the beginning of November. Their rainy season in South Africa is December, January into February, maybe the beginning of March. My personal favorite for South Africa is May, because in May the rains have gone, everything is lush and green. There's a lot of babies have been born in the months of January, February, March. So now they're all about 4 or 5 months old, and who doesn't love to see baby animals that are now active and out and about, and the predator mothers are teaching them to hunt and so on. So those are really the times for South Africa. For East Africa, peak period is really June, July, August, maybe even into September. My personal pick is November, because it's kind of what we call the shoulder season. They do have what they call the short rains in November, and it may rain every other day for 15 minutes, a lot of times in the evening, at nighttime when you're in bed sleeping or whatever. I've been to East Africa many times in November, and the rain has never bothered us. Now, I'm going to just add a little personal touch to this. As I said, we were just in Kenya last week, and January in Kenya is normally dry, and they have had just an unusual amount of rain in January, very rare. So that's why some of the rivers we were going through, which normally would be dry riverbeds, had water in them. But I got to tell you, it never bothered us. It actually made it exciting. And we would be having dinner, under the tent or something, and the rain would come down very quick. It never bothered us during the daytime. A couple of times at nighttime, we had pretty violent storms. Wonderful to see and hear when you're sleeping in. So even if you do end up going in the rain, I wouldn't go, well, I shouldn't say I wouldn't go. Some people love to go in the dead of rainy season, because they love the mud and the four-wheeling, and they just love that stuff. It's great. And the wheels are spinning in the mud. And you're in these amazing vehicles that can handle it. So yeah, that's a lot of people love to do that. It's like, but those are my peak periods for East and South.
I don't think that the rain would deter those of us in the Pacific Northwest. So good advice. Well, that is all the questions that I have today. Anything that you folks would like to say before we close out for the day?
I just want to say thank you guys so much for giving us the opportunity to bring what is truly my passion. I am so passionate about Africa. I love Africa. I'm from there, so I'm biased, but still, every time I go, I have to tell you, to come home this time was really hard. And I'm struggling to readjust. And everybody, I just know, I know it's a big step to take to go to a very interesting place on Earth, but you will not regret it. I love when I do your AAA shows and people come walking past and they point at me and they go, best trip we ever took in our life. I'm so glad that you convinced us to go. So all I can say is Africa awaits. Africa is open, and we would love to see you there. And I thank you for the opportunity to bring just a little taste of Africa to everybody today.
Thank you again for joining us. And again, members, if you think of any questions after the presentation today, you're more than welcome to reach out to us at any of the ways that they have up there on the screen right now. Thank you again for taking time out of your day for joining us. And please feel free to reach out to AAA when you're ready to start planning your next vacation. We're so excited to get you out there and exploring the world again. So Thank you again. I hope that you have a wonderful day and take care.
Thank you. Thank you, Kevin.
Bye,
Thanks,
everybody.
Nathan.
Bye, guys. Bye, Matthew.
Bye.